There's nothing like a spot of fisticuffs to get the heart racing. Or so they say at least. I wouldn't know. I never get into fights. It must be my charming personality and friendly appearance. Still, if I do feel the hankering for some physical violence, video games have got me covered. The 6th generation of console gaming was an interesting time for fighting games. Improvements in 3D technology made 3D fighters the flavour of choice for most, and the good old side-scrolling beat-em-up almost completely became a relic of the past. Despite this narrowing down of the genre, you'll see there's still an eclectic mix on our list today, including 2D and 3D brawling, and one of Metacritic's highest rated games of all time. Yes, we're back again to tell you all about the best reviewed games of the 6th generation, but this time we're turning our attention to the humble fighter. A few competitors that just missed out include Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Def Jam Fight for New York, Dead or Alive 3, and Tekken Tag Tournament. With quality like that outside of the top 10, we hope you're ready for a delectable dectet of destructive delights. Let the violence commence! I'm Ashton from TripleJump, and here are the 10 best reviewed PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, and GameCube fighting games. Number 10, Guilty Gear X2, PlayStation 2, 87%. We start our list with one of the two fighters that are keeping the 2D tradition alive. Guilty Gear X2 is a PlayStation 2 anime-style one-on-one fighting game set in a world where magic has all but replaced technology. Playable characters include the likes of bounty hunter Soul Bad Guy, yo-yo-wielding nun with a secret Bridget, and oddly proportioned bag wearer Faust. This zany group of combatants come to blows across various exciting locations, the bizarre highlight of which has to be the hull of an enormous airship, crewed exclusively by a band of young women called the Jellyfish Pirates. Players and journalists were wowed by the colourful visual style, slick animation, and active detailed backgrounds. The gameplay also impressed, with responsive controls, a well-balanced roster with loads of variety, and good replay value. Many fans also found the game's heavy metal soundtrack a delightful backdrop to the flying fists and feet. Incidentally, if you're wondering about Soul Bad Guy's strange name, it comes from the character's creator, Daisuke Eshiwatari, passing an obsession with legendary British band Queen onto his creation. The surname comes from frontman Freddie Mercury's occasional nickname and solo album title, Mr. Bad Guy. There, don't say we never teach you anything. Number 9, Power Stone 2, Dreamcast, 87%. Not only does this Capcom-developed Dreamcast exclusive share Guilty Gear X2's 87% Metacritic rating, but it also, at time of recording, shares its 8.7 user score as well. Lacking any other way to differentiate between them, we looked at how many users took the time to review the game. And so Power Stone 2 wins out. Just. There's really nothing between them when it comes to quality. There are definitely some distinct differences in gameplay though. The action is shown from an overhead view, with up to 4 3D characters engaging in frantic, cartoony combat in various 3D arenas. These arenas include trap-filled dungeons, haunted temples, and even a battle on top of a series of speeding submarines. What is it with fighting games in this generation and hulls? Honestly, modern health and safety rules would never allow it. It's all good though, because chaos is the name of the game in Power Stone 2. Choose from 12 outrageous characters, including a combat chef, a fighter pilot, and a contortionist wrapped up in blood-stained bandages, and indulge in relentless carnage, as anything you find in the arena can become a weapon. Seriously, it's all fair game, up to and including automatic gun turrets. If you can find it, you can hit someone with it, much like in real life. Number 8, Ultimate Fighting Championship, Dreamcast, 88%. We're bringing things right back to reality now. This is the first game to be based on UFC fighting, and arguably predated the UFC's rise to worldwide popularity. Despite this, reviewers declared that this video game adaptation of octagon-based fighting offered a great experience for fighting game fans. That is, the Dreamcast version did. The PS1 version sits at a very unsavoury 53% Metacritic average. Said port was, understandably, a major downgrade in graphics and gameplay, with the Dreamcast version being much closer to the highly regarded arcade original. Bold and detailed graphics, solid grappling gameplay, and authentic presentation ensured the Ultimate Fighting Championship on Sega's console stood up against the numerous genre greats of its era. The user rating for Ultimate Fighting Championship on Dreamcast is definitely worth noting though. The game holds a 7.4 user score that would allow it nowhere near this list if we were to disregard the critics. Still, it was the first of its kind and delivered some something different in a gaming world filled with over-the-top characters pulling off impossible moves in outrageous arenas. If you liked your violence a little more down to earth, this was the game for you. Number 7, Tekken 5, PS2, 88%. Also coming in at 88% with critics, but faring far better with the users, is the 5th main installment in the iconic Tekken series. Tekken 5 hit the PS2 in 2005 and added and tweaked numerous gameplay elements to ensure that players received the most action-packed and balanced Tekken yet. Gone were the uneven stages and easily abused wall juggling mechanics from Tekken 4, and in came a crush system that affected characters' vulnerability during attacks and customizable outfits. A host of new fighters debuted, including the now iconic Devil Jin, and the game looked absolutely fantastic on PlayStation 2, showcasing the graphical prowess of Sony's second console. This iteration of the series also continued the Devil Within mode, an action-adventure style escapade where players control Jin as he explores labyrinthian levels and takes on hordes of bad guys. As an added bonus for Tekken fans, the PS2 home version of Tekken 5 came complete with Tekken, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, and a port of 1991 Namco rail shooter Starblade. This generosity surely earned it a couple of extra review points, and provided fans with absolute Tekken overload. Even the most hardened of Tekken enthusiasts will surely have taken all the Tekken they can take. Try saying that after a couple of blows to the head. Number 6, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, Dreamcast, 90%. Our first foray into 90% plus territory, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the 4th game in the Marvel vs. Capcom crossover series. This epic clash of universes features characters from Capcom's extensive library and heroes and villains from the Marvel fold, and presents the rare opportunity to pit the likes of Ryu and Mega Man against Captain America and Wolverine. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was lauded as the best of its kind at the time, and was praised heartily for its eye-catching and well-animated 2D sprites on 3D model backgrounds. It also presented a refined battle system that managed to maintain a balanced experience, regardless of which outlandish superpowers were being unleashed at any given moment. The Dreamcast version ranked far higher than the PS2 and Xbox ports, again due to it being closer to the arcade original, although later releases on PS3 and Xbox 360 would add online play, which provided a whole other dimension of longevity. One thing that reviewers unanimously disliked about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, however, was its music. It's hard to describe, but try to imagine the most generic elevator jazz that you might hear introducing a daytime talk show, alongside apocalyptic duels between super powerful beings. Seriously, look up a long play and have a listen. It really is something. Number 5, Dead or Alive 2, Hardcore, PS2, 91%. Dead or Alive 2 had numerous versions across arcades and consoles, with each updated release adding stages, costumes and unlockable characters until the PS2's Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore hit the shelves in 2000. This version, as well as including all the bits and pieces added previously, completely made over certain aspects of the game. The general pace was quickened, and characters and moves were given a more realistic makeover, lessening the anime look it had previously embraced. It also added item collection aspects and gallery modes, as well as numerous other tweaks that we just don't have time to list. But as a result, this complete release of the Dead or Alive series' second entry beat out Xbox launch game Dead or Alive 3 in the review stakes. Aside from all these improvements, Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore offered the franchise's trademark fast-paced combat. The roster featured numerous ninja-themed characters such as Ninja Gaiden's Ryu Hayabusa, as well as fighters from around the world, including affectionate Hulk Hogan parody Bass. Of course, the female contingent the game had become so well known for was also present and correct, with the likes of Kasumi and Helena igniting the imaginations of impressionable young gamers even then. They'd still have to wait 3 years to play volleyball with them though. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. Melee, GameCube, 92%. The GameCube iteration of Nintendo's popular mascot mashup series, Super Smash Bros., expanded on what had been started with its N64 predecessor. Depending on whether you view Zelda and Sheik as different characters, Super Smash Bros. Melee added either 13 or 14 new fighters to the mix, and also threw in some more stages and game modes too. Like its predecessor, it continued the tradition of replacing health meters with damage percentages that dictated how much knockback your character would suffer from taking a hit, and kept the ultimate goal of of bashing your enemies off the edge of the screen. This chaos could now take place over the course of a new adventure mode, which was a predetermined journey throughout various Nintendo universes and planted the seeds for the more complete adventures found in later Smash Bros. Games. While not everyone was won over by the hectic gameplay, the vast majorities of reviewers and gamers held Super Smash Bros. Melee as one of the all-time greats, and despite additional sequels having been released in more recent years, Melee still has an active competitive community to this day. Impressive stuff! Now, if only we could settle on a single, correct way to pronounce Melee. Number 3, Soul Calibur 2, GameCube, 93%. The first fighter to pick up a podium position in our TripleJump Fisticuffs tournament is Soul Calibur 2. This tale of souls and swords eternally retold brings the highly regarded 3D weapon-based fighting series to the Xbox, PS2 and GameCube. Like its predecessor, Soul Calibur 2 takes the 3D fighting game genre back in time, painting an alternate fantastical picture of the world's history where a good sword called Soul Calibur and an evil sword called Soul Edge vie for dominance. The majority of the characters involved are seeking out one of these swords, and the colourful cast of competitors include the likes of nunchuck-wielding Elvis impersonator Maxi and fancy hat-wearing Dread pirate Cervantes. Wait, how can Maxi be an Elvis impersonator if he predates Elvis by hundreds of years? Did Elvis impersonate him? Anyway, Soul Calibur 2 was praised heavily for its dazzling visuals and refined gameplay, with the GameCube version rated the highest of the three. Why did the GameCube version rank a little higher, you ask? Well, it was probably something to do with the console-exclusive guest characters. Heihachi and Spawn are cool and all, but they're no Link. Did you know, though, that if it wasn't for licensing woes, Cloud Strife might have been a PS2 exclusive character? That might have shaken the scores up a bit. Number 2, Virtua Fighter 4, PlayStation 2, 94%. Picking up the silver medal in our 6th generation slugfest is Sega's Virtua Fighter 4, released for the PlayStation 2 in 2002. The 4th iteration in the series that pioneered 3D fighting games, Virtua Fighter 4 saw the return of characters like Akira Yuki and Sarah Bryant, and continued the franchise's more down-to-earth feel, compared to the zaniness of Dead or Alive or the historical fantasy of Soul Calibur. Virtua Fighter 4 really captured the imaginations of reviewers upon release, with superlatives being thrown around with wild abandon. Many agreed that it was the best fighting game experience available on home consoles, and the graphics, gameplay and balance were all heavily praised. There was another version released for the PlayStation 2 a year later. Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution added a couple of characters and numerous tweaks and additions that really make it the definitive edition of the top-notch fighting game. However, that version is sitting on 93% Metacritic average, which, thanks to some user score shenanigans, would put it in 3rd behind Soul Calibur 2. We went with the highest scoring version of the game for our list, putting Virtua Fighter 4 at the very deserved 2nd place. After all, we can't have Killer Kinko taking up both top spots, can we? Oh wait, did I just spoil number 1? And number 1, Soul Calibur, Dreamcast, 98%. Ported beautifully from the arcade with a smattering of additional content, Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast is regarded not only as one of the finest fighting games of all time, but as one of the greatest games ever made, sitting alongside the likes of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Mario Galaxy, and Grand Theft Auto 4 at the very top of the Metacritic pile. Soul Calibur is unlikely to be beaten anytime soon. Released on the Dreamcast in 1999, Soul Calibur's graphics wowed at the time and still look great today. And behind this gorgeous appearance was outstanding gameplay that hardcore combo experts and casual button mashers could enjoy equally. Mixing martial arts and weapon disciplines from all over the world, Soul Calibur gave players the opportunity to pit knights against samurai, pirates against ninjas, and ancient Greek warriors against whatever Voldo is. This eye-catching cast drew players in with their outlandish displays of fantastical violence, but the flawless gameplay kept them coming back. Sure, things may have moved on, but Soul Calibur's quality still shines through, and it was a phenomenal step forward for its time. Standing alongside Street Fighter 2 and the original Mortal Kombat as truly legendary fighting games, Soul Calibur really does transcend history and the world.